Hello and welcome back to Grid Down Prepping at Guns America Digest. If you haven't subscribed to Guns America Digest, you should do so at gunsamerica.com/digest, as there are usually articles that go along with these videos that have a lot more detail, things that I forgot, and product links. Today I'm back on the subject of radiation, which is very, very, very unpopular in the prepping world. Been doing this for a long time with Prepping 101, and for some reason people just they're just not interested in facts about measuring radiation. But this week I figured, you know what, I'll take one for the team and I'll do it again. Especially since I found this guy, which is why I decided to do the video. These actually just arrived and I tested them, and they have a unique feature that an inexpensive meter I've never seen before in my life. This week New York City put out a PSA on an actual video. I can't include it because of copyright strikes, but they put out an actual video PSA on what to do in case of a nuclear bomb, which obviously is scary, but unfortunately I think you'll see that most people react to it the same way that people living on fault lines in California react to earthquakes. Only about 3% of them prepare for anything. So when the controlling forces of what's been going on for the last few years tell you what they're going to do next, I really think that you should listen. And when it comes to radiation, measuring it is extremely difficult, because the misinformation out there as to what a Geiger counter can do, a Geiger-Mueller counter, which is like this guy, can do, and this guy can actually do. The Geiger counters can only measure up to about 1 millirad per hour using a standard Russian, like an SBM 20 tube, or any standard Geiger tube, even the pancake ones. They really can't do much more than 1/1000th of a rad per hour. Now, a quote deadly radiation event is generally well over a rad per hour. 1 rad per hour is generally going to be considered where dangerous starts. And the only thing that you can do that with that are available to us for a reasonable price are these old civil defense meters. This is a CDV 715, and I've covered these a dozen times over the years. Right now there's a lot of these guys on eBay, 715, CDV 715, CDV 717, that are broken. There's also a lot that are in the like $150 plus range that they claim are certified and calibrated, which is impossible, because there is only one service in the entire world that can calibrate a CDV meter, and it's these guys. KI4U.com, also at radmeters.com. They have that, the CDV 794 calibrator that comes with a big honkin' chunk of cesium-137, and they are the only ones who can certify these meters as working correctly, and there are dials on the side of the actual meter that they calibrate so that it's pretty darn close, even at 50 rads an hour and above. Okay, it's the only way to have your meter certified is to buy a meter on faith that it works. If they say that the circuit check passed, fine, and then ship it directly to 212 Oil Patch Lane, Gonzales, Texas. I've sent a dozen of them because I give these away to friends. It's one of the things that I know people will not buy for themselves, so it's one of my gifts. My prepper gifts are CDV meters, calibrated CDV meters. It's about $100 to get them calibrated. I don't think that the price has actually gone up. Regular Geigers, though, the point that I really wanted to bring out here is, and I've said this before backwards. What I've said before is that meters like this guy, this is probably a $300 inspector alert, all right? guys like this, they will blank out with any serious source of radiation that is not even dangerous. The test source that I've used for many years is this one. It's cesium-137. It's a tiny little chip of cesium-137. And legal to ship, legal to own, blah, blah, blah. But if I put this on this meter, it will come up to rangeful within seconds. Okay? But my point is always, don't rely on this for, my point in the past has always been, don't rely on a Geiger to measure high-level radiation. But the opposite point of, if you know that your background radiation is 0.1 microsieverts, and all of a sudden your meter's blanking out, it's time to get the hell out of Dodge. That's common sense. You don't need to have a CDV meter to know that explosion that just went off within earshot of my house is a nuclear explosion. Or that they're telling me on the fake news that a nuke popped in New York City. I don't have any personal evidence of it. I live 200 miles away from New York City or 1,000 miles away from New York City. But am I being affected by radiation? I could take out my Geiger counter and say, oh, you know what? Not today. And that, from a prepper's perspective of having peace of mind, is why investing in even the cheapest Geiger counters, if you go back to Prepping 101, all that stuff is still valid. It's still out there. There's Geiger counter kits that you can get for, there's still only $50, $60 that you can solder together yourself. There are plenty of Geiger counters out there. The real dosage of this little chip is about 8 millirads per hour. You see how it's on USV right now? It's on. Oh, see, it already switched to. It was on microrads per hour, and now it's switched to millirads, to thousandths of a rad per hour. And this maxes out at about 8 millirads per hour on my Nuke Alert. Now, I don't feature the Nuke Alert anymore because they're gone. All right, this was a product that Shane Connor, the guy at KI4U, put out years ago, and I got one. And it can do both low range and high range radiation. It is the only meter that can truly go up to north of 50 rads an hour. It says 600 rads an hour actually on it. North of 50 rads an hour, no one can go to that. And this chip, when I put it right on the source, upside down like that, it maxes out at about 8 thousandths of a rad per hour. Now, most of your meters are going to be measuring in sieverts. One sievert is 100 rads. So you just, in sieverts, I'm not going to get into it. It's a whole different measurement system that is essentially the same, but they claim that it's measured on what can be absorbed, blah, blah, blah. It's roughly 100 rads, or 100 roentgens. When you see a small r or a big R, small r is usually rads, the big R is roentgens. The other, before I get to this guy, I will mention briefly that the other higher level meter out there is this guy, is the GMC 500 Plus. I think these are, I don't remember how much they're going for now, but they're not cheap. But it can only do, it flattens out at about a half a rad per hour. So the advantage over a regular Geiger, there's a Russian SG something tube, in addition to a regular SBM 20 that does not saturate as quickly as a regular inexpensive Geiger tube, and they just have software that can bounce between the two tubes. But a regular Geiger counter is going to tell you everything that's going to tell you, even though the top measurement of this Geiger is not anywhere near in the range of dangerous radiation. This guy maxes out at about 100 USV microsieverts an hour with the test thing. If you move it around, it has different sensitivity at different places, but if you move it to the right spot, it can get up to 100. I've even gotten it to 120 USV an hour. The important thing is that it does not blank out, and it does not give you a crazy reading. Those are the and one of the things I love about it, which is not true of any other Geiger that I found, even the exact same case with different software in it, I have never seen one go right back to normal background radiation as soon as the test material is taken away. That is what impressed me about this. And the meter does other things. I'll explain why the software is different. But even if you go to 100 USV an hour, it's not giving you a correct measurement, because 100 USV an hour doesn't work out to the same amount. It only works out to about 10 millirads an hour, which is deceptive. But it will tell you when something is going on. And that is all you need to know. Get to a place where background returns to normal and wait to see what really happened. That's why you need a Geiger counter of some kind. Even the kind that don't have a display. There's one that can connect to your computer. Does not have a display. I'll try to find it for the article and link to it. These are at sbhardware.com. Because like I've determined on this column, I'm not going to cover something unless I know that there's a supply, so I have arranged for there to be a supply. Okay, and the software on this meter, there's plenty of them out there that look like this. Okay, you'll find them on Amazon, you'll find them on eBay. They're fine, you know, they're not as expensive. But this one goes right back, and that to me it's a big deal. And I think that that's because it's different software that measures other things. You see, if you hold down that left button, it also measures EMF. See, if I put it on my phone, it's showing you the waves of EMF, of magnetic. This is EMF, this is magnetic field, this is RF. So this is also the RF, the RF, which is radio waves. So I believe that that's what makes this meter special, is that it is an upgraded software on it, and therefore it handles high level radiation, or what is not actually high level radiation. I could walk around with this chip in my pocket the rest of my life and it would never affect me, even though it's way higher than anything you will occur in normal nature and that you'll normally encounter in your life. So that's what you need to know, is that get yourself a Geiger counter. If you want to go the route of a CDV 715, great. You know, I highly encourage it. They were $40 when I covered this 6 months ago. All right, I gave you guys a source for $40 on eBay, shipped, I believe, and I did ship a couple of them out to Shane to give away myself, but there were still like hundreds of them left, and they're gone. So my suggestion is to just get one of these. All right, it's a nice little meter for not a lot of money. We'll see you next time.